Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to talk about Arathi Basin. Yeah, and more specifically, we're finally going to explore the brand new Arathi Basin Remastered, which is coming to the game in patch 8.1.5. So if you didn't know, at BlizzCon they announced that they're remastering Arathi Basin and Warson Gulch. So this will be a two-part video of Arathi Basin, this one, and then the next one will be Warson. And yeah, let's just jump straight into it. What we're going to do is load it up in the map viewer and just kind of explore each individual area of the map, kind of talk about how it's changed and what's new and the small details that you might have missed and things like that. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. So firstly, we're going to talk about the Troll Bane Hall, and this is the base camp for the Alliance. This is where they start. The old one looks like this, and the new one looks like this, and this is a major improvement. Some of the bigger changes to this zone are the starting zones for the Horde and Alliance, and we'll obviously look at the Horde in a moment. But firstly, let's check out this Alliance one. So previously, the building is something from Warcraft 3. This is now a brand new asset for Arathi Basin specifically. At least that's what I can tell. I have not seen this building design anywhere else. If you have, do let me know. And we're just going to kind of walk through it. So here is the actual area where the Alliance will start now. You can't go into any other areas of this building. This is literally just here on this mat is where you begin. And you'll run out here and wait here for the gates to open for the battleground. The area itself is actually a lot larger than it was previously. You still have the graveyard in the exact same position. You've got this kind of area here with some armor and some Alliance shields put up and a random barrel of fruit. To the right hand side of the Trollbane Hall, you've actually got a Griffin point, which is kind of interesting. Don't know if they're going to actually add anything with that. I think it's just literally a design choice, but it is pretty cool to see a Griffin inside Arathi Basin. You can actually go all the way around the back here. You've actually got a dog kennel there. You've got a food area where you've got seating and food laid out on the table, and this really cool looking blue cloth over the tent there that looks really awesome. And overall, this is just a really cool looking building. I really do wish that you could go inside this one. That would have been really awesome, but unfortunately not, although it does look like you can. And I'm a really big fan of this building. I love the new design. I love the new high-res textures that they're using for this design. It does kind of reflect the new Arathi Highlands that we got in BFA. And even beyond this, you can see like beyond this gate here at the back, it's just like you've got this awesome panoramic view now of basically new Arathi Highlands, and you've got kind of a farmyard building, you've got a bridge up the top there. That's what I kind of like about this zone, where it looks like it belongs more in Arathi Highlands than the previous one, where it just kind of looked like it was there for the sake of being a battleground. So moving south from the Trollbane Hall, you arrive at the brand new stables. Now this building is replacing the old one, and it's a very similar design, but it is just kind of an up-res version of it. The entrances are still exactly the same from the front and the side there. Obviously, once the battleground is going, there will be horses spawned in here as you did previously, and I don't think any of the flags will be changing position either. I think with this one specifically, there is really nothing brand new about this. It is just quite literally a up-resed version of the previous one, which is kind of what a lot of people wanted out of this, because I feel like people, especially PvPers, know Arathi Basin so well that, you know, you don't want to move stuff too much because you just kind of, you know, it's kind of ruins the flow, I suppose. I think the use of lighting and shading on these buildings looks absolutely amazing as well. It really brings them to life, and you can really see the differences between this one and the old one. The old one really needed some work, and I'm so glad that they are finally doing this. And obviously, if you do like the old one, Classic WoW is coming out this summer, so don't worry, it's not going anywhere. So if we head southwest from the stables over to the lumber mill, you have this awesome new bridge. You've got a few of these bridges actually sprouted around the battleground. They're all pretty much exactly the same. But yeah, again, just an up-res version of the previous one. It looks really cool, and it kind of fits the graphic style of BFA and of the newer WoW that they're kind of going for with this battleground. So over at the lumber mill, instantly you can see this massive buzzsaw spinning away, looking really cool and kind of having sparks flying off of it and bits of wood flying off of it, which is a really nice detail. Specifically, this area has not changed, just like the stables and just like a lot of the bases in Arathi Basin. They've really kept to the original design so that nothing is brand new, but everything is kind of up-resed and looking a lot better. I think as well with a lot of this Arathi Basin, none of the ground has changed either, so the actual levels and everything like that and where the hills are and where the drops are exactly the same as they were previously, so there's no major changes in that regard. I love the new details and shadows on the trees. I think it really brings this area to life. I like the fact that it's not exactly the same tree everywhere, just sprouted around, it is quite a few different designs of trees, and these designs probably are taken from the brand new Arathi Highlands that we got in BFA. For me, honestly, the best parts are the smaller details. So if you actually go inside the lumber mill, you've got these tiny like piles of sawdust, these awesome looking saws, benches with tools on top of them and things like that. It's just, I really feel like the art team had a really great time doing these redesigns because, yeah, it's just so cool. I really feel you can tell a story with some of the design ideas they've had with this. So over to the middle of the map now, we have the very contested area known as the Blacksmith. Now this area has had some changes in its design and size, specifically inside of the Blacksmith itself. It's actually a lot smaller than it was before, but really how much fighting was going on inside the Blacksmith. Outside of it, you've got this fenced area here, which has actually had its fenced enlarged, where previously I believe you could jump over it, but now you can't. And it is looking a little bit smaller than it was before. The actual building design of the Blacksmith is exactly the same. It is just more angular and more uniform to the rest of the buildings in this zone. So there does actually seem to be a few extra bushes sprouted around this area as well. I don't think it'll make much difference to the flow of the battleground. I think it's just there for aesthetics. But I really do like the design of the Blacksmith, and it's one of the main features of Arathi Basin, honestly. And I think they've done a really great job with making it look up-resed and a lot better, honestly. And I think this actual Blacksmith building is the first time we've seen this specific building be used in the game. I think it might be a new asset just for Arathi Basin. Let me know if you have seen it before. I haven't personally seen it, but I might have just missed it. Okay, so over from the Blacksmith, we end up at the mine. This is actually one of the biggest changed bases in the new Arathi Basin. So as you can see, straight away they've added a couple more entrances to the mine. Now these entrances are all blocked off, they are literally there just for aesthetics, but the ground where the flag would normally be is exactly the same, but they've now added this upper path up here where these two new entrances are. This is a whole new area up here which actually wasn't there at all previously. Previously it was just the graveyard, which is still there, but they've now added a path leading over to the graveyards. So this is actually adding some new areas for battle inside the mine. To be honest, you probably won't end up there anyway because you'll be obviously fighting over the flag, but it does look a lot better in my opinion. But beyond the new path, it is pretty much exactly the same. The main mine is blocked off and they have removed a few little bushes and added some trees in there, but aesthetically it's basically exactly the same. So moving up to the final base of Arathi Basin, the farm, you have this awesome new looking high-res waterfall which looks incredible compared to the old one, definitely. We cross over this awesome looking bridge which looks great with the waterfall coming down at the side of it, and then we end up at the farm. So there are a few design changes to the farm, but on the face of it, it's not too different. On this new one, they've actually removed a lot of the fencing, which was kind of around the house and around some of the fields. It's now a bit more open. There are a few fences around, but nothing too crazy. You've still got the same three buildings, but they are obviously up-resed and looking a lot better than they were previously. The actual windmill itself has rotated. Obviously, that makes no difference, but it is a little bit random. And the actual fruit and vegetables that are growing do look a lot better in general. They have actually added this random tree here on the left-hand side. Not too sure why. Could be a little bit of a blockade if you're crossing over the river from the mine, but I don't think it's going to make much difference, honestly. And they've actually smoothed out a lot of the hill going up this little river here as well. So if you look on the old one where it's a lot more jagged and not smooth, with the new one it's a nice smooth transition going into the water. So that could help if you are planning on not going over the bridge and skipping right over across the river into the farm. I believe all the graveyards in this zone are in the exact same positions as well, which is really great. Haven't changed too much of a dynamic in that regard. And that's what I really like about this zone, where they've just kind of kept the original design ideas, but just up-res them and made them look a lot better and more uniform towards the new graphic style of World of Warcraft. And finally, we're going to check out the Defias Den. And this is the starting area for the Horde in the battleground. Now, if you notice something, this building is exactly the same as the Alliance one. But if you look at it, it looks like it's been attacked and barraged by the Horde. They've placed some spikes down, they've placed some Horde banners down. You can see the actual building itself is actually on fire. You've got charred wood there, you've got massive bits of brick missing from the top of it, and I really love the idea of this. I love the fact that it's not just a random Horde base, it is literally just an Alliance base which has been pillaged by the Horde and taken over as their base. Unfortunately, this does make the battleground not so much humans versus undeads, where it's more like just kind of humans, I guess, against the Horde, which is a shame because I did like the idea of the undeads being against the humans. The Horde actually do have an extra building as well, which you can't access, but yeah, it's just a similar design to the farm building. It's just kind of sprouted here as well. And much like the Alliance building, they do have a panoramic view at the back of it, where you've got this bridge and you've got these little farmhouses, and it just goes off into the distance into Arathi Highlands. But yeah, beyond the fact that it's not undead anymore, I think they have done a really great job in making it look like that the Horde have just kind of gone in, killed everybody, and just turned it into their base and started their attack on Arathi Basin. So that is pretty much it, guys. Let me know down below what you think of this zone, what you think of the upres. Do you think it's a good or a bad idea that they're doing this? Do you feel like they've ruined the original integrity of the battleground? Or do you think they've done a really great job and kind of kept the original feel of the original battleground? Obviously, you won't get a real feel for it until you have everyone running around doing the battleground, fighting each other, and seeing if there is actually any major differences to the flow of the battleground with these new buildings and assets. For me personally, I do love this zone. I think they've done a really great job with it. I think obviously with Classic WoW coming out, you will be able to go to the old Arathi Basin, so it's not the end of the world. It's not going away forever. And as of right now, there's no choice on the PTR to go to the old one. I think they are literally just replacing the old ones with the new ones. So before I go, let's give a massive shout out to our amazing patrons, YouTube channel members, and Twitch subs. You guys are awesome. If you'd like to support the channel in any of those ways, links are down below. So leave a like on this video, guys, if you liked it, and subscribe if you haven't. We've also got a partner Discord channel with over 3,000 members and a merch store over on Streamlabs. And I'm also now streaming on twitch.tv/MrGM if you want to check me out on stream. Doing a lot of PTR stuff, been doing a lot of normal WoW stuff, doing Mythic Legion raids recently, which has been a lot of fun. So if you want to check me out, link is in the description below this video. And with that, guys, I'll see you next time.